All right, I took a little bit of an extra break there. We're a little bit already into the draft, but I needed a second to catch my breath and to take a sip of to get a drink and just relax for a second because we're immediately jumping right in to the semifinals. My goodness, this is the SCS. Like I said, we're in the semifinals. I'm Niz. Thanks for watching. We have Invictus Shadowy, which won that hour and 8-minute long game that we just saw. That game was crazy. Those team fights were like impossible to follow. They were crazy. Things were happening all over the place. Oh no, unfortunately the captain DC'd there. We'll figure out what has to happen there. We've got to pause in the game, but yeah, Invictus Shadowy, they won that hour and 8-minute long game. That game was nuts. Absolutely crazy. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch the VOD because that was nuts. I don't even know what I was saying towards the end of the game. I was excited. I hope that came across. I was yelling. It was good. It was good. It was a good game. But we have Invictus Shadowy one more time. They're going to be on the dire side here. They're going to be going up against In Japster We Trust. And I'm not really sure what's going on here. Hopefully. Hopefully DDS7 will be able to reconnect and we'll be able to continue with the draft. Oh, we got Mr. Sizzo in chat. Long time no see. Bumped into Mr. Sizzo in
10 seconds
in a friend's stream last night.
5 seconds.
We both mod the same channel, and good to see Mr. Sizzo back. And he says, "LOL, this draft, Clowny Draft 101. If they draft OD, I'm going to leave." Well, hopefully they don't draft OD. But Mr. Sizzo, he always takes a shot at trying to guess what heroes are going to be picked in the draft, and I don't think you've been right once. I don't think so.
Reserve time.
But it's worth the try, Mr. Sizzo.
Radiant team.
I'm looking forward to hear what you have to say in response to that once the 2-minute delay goes through. But let's catch up in the draft. We've got Troll, Axe, and Tidehunter banned out by Invictus. They picked up Dazzle and Earthshaker as their first 2 picks. And in Japster We Trust banded out the Jug, Omni Knight, Templar Assassin, and now the Invoker. And they picked up Lion and Meepo as their first 2 picks. So obviously Meepo is going to raise your ears, similar to how Meepos are. But because that's interesting. Is this a core Meepo? Is this a support Meepo? You know, Big Daddy No Tail style Meepo? We'll have to wait and see. But it's a Meepo, and they're gonna pick up Ancient Apparition. Oh, the 4th ban didn't go through because of the drafter desync. Okay, that makes sense. Unfortunately, they have no reserve time. They're going to pick up Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit is a fantastic hero against Meepo because that hero does a ton of damage. And not only does he do a ton of burst damage, he also does a ton of AoE damage while he's doing his burst damage. So that's great for taking down Meepo. People typically think that AoE is fantastic against Meepo because you're dealing damage to all of them, which is good. But burst damage is king against Meepo. It doesn't matter how much damage you deal to any of them as long as you kill one of them.
5 seconds remaining.
So burst damage is incredible like that. At the same time, though, AoE is not bad. It helps to get them all low, allowing you to burst them and finish one of them off. So they will get Ember Spirit, which is going to be a very dangerous hero for the 3 heroes that have already been picked by In Japster We Trust. Ancient Apparition and Lion, both very, very vulnerable heroes to Ember Spirit, as they're both incredibly squishy supports. However, if Lion's able to lock down the Ember Spirit, then that's going to give them all the tools that they need to make sure that they're able to bring down that Ember Spirit so he's not able to punish the Lion, the Ancient Apparition, and more importantly, the Meepo. I guess the next question is, well, we know it's a core Meepo. Which lane are they going to put this Meepo in? Is it going to be a safe lane Meepo? Are they going to just farm him up and try to protect him in the lane? Or are they going to put him in the mid lane? I think he's best to be put in the bottom lane. Put him in the safe lane. The supports can help protect him, and then as soon as he hits that, he gets that second Meepo, he can basically start putting that one in the jungle, stacking camps, and depending on how we'll get to that in a second. Depending on how they're able to stack camps and control the lanes, they may have a ton of the jungle for that Meepo to farm. But Invictus could always say, you know what, you've got a Meepo. You want to be stacking your jungle. We're going to come and take over your jungle so that Meepo's not able to do that. Lina is going to be the pick for In Japster We Trust. I imagine that's going to be a mid-core Lina. So they've just picked up their mid laner. The Meepo is most likely going to be in the safe lane, and they're just going to finish up their roster with an off laner. Invictus Shadowy, most likely it's going to be an Ember Spirit. It's going to be in the mid lane. And they've got their two supports with the Dazzle and the Earthshaker. And here they're most likely going to pick up... it's going to be a Brewmaster, okay.
Radiant team ban.
So what they're actually going to do is put the Ember Spirit most likely safe lane and put the Brewmaster mid lane. Either way, Lina's going to win her lane. That hero wins pretty much any lane that you can think of. She's fantastic at laning. So she's going to win against the Brewmaster. But, I mean, the Brewmaster can do okay, but it's just a tough lane.
Radiant team pick.
So it is going to be a Brewmaster mid, Ember Spirit safe lane. Final two bans go out. It's going to be a Sniper that's going to get banned out via In Japster We Trust. Sniper's probably one of the better heroes to go up against Lina, but it will get removed. And the last ban for Invictus, which is actually in the 4th ban spot, will be Doom.
10 seconds remaining.
So In Japster We Trust banned out the Sniper. So they said, you know what? Maybe they're going to pick up the Sniper, put the Brewmaster off lane, or maybe they'll even try to go aggressive against us and put the Brewmaster safe lane. Night Stalker is going to be the pick for In Japster We Trust. Terrific pick against both the Ember Spirit and the Brewmaster. It's a hero that they can go and really set the pace, help create a little bit of space for the Meepo to help him farm and get his core underway and start getting him snowballing. And Night Stalker pairs incredibly well with Alina. Both two incredibly strong tempo setting heroes. They'll pair well with the Lion. And they also have the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, which he won't be with them, but he'll be able to throw them across the map to help the Lina and the Night Stalker and the Lion gank. Well, according to Mr. Sizzo, Dyer's going to pick SF and win the game. He's wrong once again. It was a Night Stalker. Come on, man. You're dropping the ball. Razor's going to be the final pick for Invictus. I don't think anyone was going to expect that Night Stalker. Interesting. So they got Razor. So I think what we're going to have here is an aggressive tri-lane from Invictus with the Dazzle, Earthshaker, and Ember. The Brewmaster is going to be mid, and the Razor is going to be safe lane. From In Japster We Trust, we're going to have a defensive tri-lane with the Lion, the Meepo, and the Ancient Apparition. The Lina's going to be mid, and the Night Stalker is going to be off lane. So on paper, Lina wins mid against the Brewmaster. Razor wins top against the... Lina wins mid against the Brewmaster. Razor should win top against the Night Stalker. So it's 1-1 there. And trying to figure out what these guys are talking about in game. Sorry if I'm a little distracted. It looks like we're going to actually have a remake. No, wait. Just stay. I don't know. Maybe it looks like they were having difficulty connecting or whatever, but it looks like they actually are going to be able to reconnect. We're not going to have a remake, so hopefully that should be okay. But so we should have a wash. We should have Radiant winning mid, Dire I believe wins top, and then it's going to come down to that tri lane, as it always seems to when you got tri lane versus tri lane. And I think Dire should win the tri lane. So I think they've come out ahead in the laning phase. The problem is that coming out of that laning phase, Radiant is a difficult team to deal with. Mick's talking to me in chat. Like Mr. Sizzle's catching up to me calling him out in the draft. What happened if the guy goes offline and they swap him after picks? Oh, well, hopefully he's going to reconnect shortly and we'll be underway. But that last game was so damn long. Oh, actually, we do have a reconnect. Okay, so I don't have to. I'm like on the fence whether or not I should have thrown it to music there. But I think we got it. I think we're ready to go. We still got the G coming out from the Dire side. Now we're just going to have to wait on the Radiant side to say G, and we should be ready to go on this one. I'm definitely interested to see how these two teams are going to square off against each other, because that tri lane I think is going to be pretty good. But it's not just about that tri lane. We're going to have an interesting game. All right, we're resumed. We're ready to go. Hopefully, everyone who's watching the VOD is caught up to us. Let's introduce the teams. On the Radiant side, we have In Japster We Trust. Playing their Lina is going to be Z-Rock. Playing the Ancient Apparition is going to be Autism 2000. Playing the Lion is going to be Stand-In Rasilion?
Thanks.
Rasilion. We'll go with that. Playing Meepo is going to be Japster. Playing the Night Stalker is going to be KRBZ. KRBs, I'm probably going to call them. On the Dire side, we're going to have Team Invictus Shadowy. We saw them last game in an incredibly long game. Hopefully, this game is just as good, but not as long. We've got DDS7 playing the Ember Spirit. We've got Puppy playing the Dazzle. No, not that Puppy. Little different Puppy. But he's going to be playing the Dazzle. We've got Argus on the Brewmaster. We have Steel on the Razor. And we have Sir Arenita. God, I'm never going to get that one right. He's going to be on the Earthshaker.
The battle begins.
Mr. Sizzo's asking. Well, first of all, he says that he'll get the predictions one day. And he's going to rub it in my face. Maybe. But I have a feeling that's going to be quite a way down the road. Because your track record so far isn't looking too favorable. As for my stats, man, he's asleep. Indy, actually, I was talking to him right before, and there's potential of him potentially coming in, doing some stats, or maybe even casting with me, but he hadn't slept much at all, so he's going to go take a nap. So unfortunately, no co-caster with me tonight. But let's see, let's take a look at the lanes, see if I was right about the lanes. We got the Night Stalker going up against the Razor, and as long as we ignore this Earthshaker, I was completely right about that lane. But no, we've got an Earthshaker up there. We've got the Lina going up against the Brewmaster in the mid lane, which I said. And we've got the defensive tri-lane of the Meepo, the Lion, and the Ancient Apparition going up against the Ember Spirit and the Dazzle. A little bit surprised that they're not putting the Earthshaker down here. But they are starting him off in the top lane. Interesting. Maybe they will make a rotation down there, because I see... I don't know. There's advantage in this. It helps to make sure that the Razor wins this lane, but I think Razor wins this lane. So why do they have to have the Earthshaker up there? I think in the mid lane, they're going to be losing to the Brewmaster. Or sorry, they're going to be losing the Brewmaster versus the Lina. The Lina's going to win that lane. In the bottom lane, I think Meepo is just going to get way more than he should if they were to put the tri-lane down here. Maybe they're banking on the fact that they're going to have someone basically stacking the entire time.
Haste.
Oh, apologize for the spectator in chat, or in the spectator chat. I unfortunately can't lock that down and remove that. We've got Dazzle showing up in the mid lane, just coming in and nuking the wave with that haste and running right back down to the bottom lane. So far, how the lanes are going? Well, we've got Meepo leading the way with the CS. We've got Lina just one CS behind in the mid lane, pretty much dominating this Brewmaster, which is what I expected, as Brew is definitely struggling. And in the top lane, of course, Razor is winning that one at 13-4. And the Night Stalker only at 5-0, but Earthshaker is obviously limiting that quite a bit. Ooh, just missing the Fissure. That would have been a kill onto the Night Stalker there, but Fissure, unfortunately, just a little bit off the mark.
In trouble, seeing straight.
I do have faith in you, Mr. Sizzo. I do. One day you'll get it.
Denied.
Distracting me, man. You're distracting me. Well, we've got Earthshaker sitting around at the top rune, just securing it for his Brewmaster, and he's actually going to have to take it as the Lina is making a rotation up there. Is he going to let her get it? Well, going to bait her in, going to Fissure block her off, but she's just going to take it, refill her bottle, and that's going to allow her the ability to chug. And she's just going to turn this around. I think that was a little bit of a misplay. I think Earthshaker should have just taken that. And they still could have Fissure blocked her this way. He could have taken it, moved up here, and Fissure blocked this way and trapped her in. Brewmaster would have been coming here, and she would have been locked in that phase. Earthshaker wouldn't have been able to throw any auto attacks off, but she would have been trapped there, and Brew would have been on her, dealing a little bit of damage. I still don't think there's a kill potential there. Speaking of kill potential, I think Lina's going to be able to die for this, and there goes the Brewmaster. Oh no! He uses the chug from the bottle to keep himself alive, then uses a healing salve immediately after, and he will have... But in the bottom lane, DDS7 in trouble here as Jobster is... No, it's actually going to be Autism 2000 is going to get the kill, and they're going to go for the kill onto Puppy, who is now going to use the Shallow Grave on himself. He must have just been out of range to use that onto his fellow teammate there, and Jobster is going to dive and get the kill there. So 2 kills for this tri-lane as Meepo starts the snowball. He's slowly starting to roll down the hill, and well, Invictus Shadowy is going to have to do something to deal with it, to stop that snowball from just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because that's exactly what Meepo's going to do, and they've got to find some way to at least slow him down or stop him from just getting out of control. And I think part of that is DDS7. He's got the potential to really shut down this Meepo. The problem is that when they're 2v3 down here, it's very difficult for them to go up against the Meepo. The Meepo does so much damn damage when paired with an Ancient Apparition. The Ancient Apparition's E, the Chilling Touch, which gives that bonus attack damage to well, any hero he cast it on. It's a big AoE. It applies to every single Meepo clone. So that Meepo's hitting so damn hard with every right click. And my old team, we ran this for a while as well. We experimented with the AA Meepo combo, and it is incredibly strong. And we actually also ran it with Dazzle. Dazzle was one of our favorite heroes. And the Dazzle heal, of course, pairs really well with the Meepo. It gives you Shadowy Grave. And Argus is just going to get completely blown up as Lion and Lina combine for the kill there. There was a wraparound from KRB's as he came around, making the rotation from the top lane, but he wasn't even necessary in the end. That's the third kill now for in Japster we trust. Well, take another look at the lanes, how they're going. Well, still have Razor leading the way, but he's pretty much just a couple CS ahead of both the Lina, who's been in the mid lane, and the Meepo. Where is he? He's up here, who's now stacking the jungle. Both of them are farming incredibly well. But the other two cores on the Dire side struggling. The Brewmaster, just 16 CS for him, and the Ember Spirit, just 15. Alright, we're going to have Z-Rock getting focused down here as the split is used by the Brewmaster. There we go, the first kill for Invictus Shadowy. And then we've got the Lion tossed up in the air, and he's going to be the second kill. I don't see him getting out of this one, as he's going to go down. One of the Brewmaster splits dies, but well, when he comes out of that, Argus is going to be full HP, because he was full HP when he split to begin with. So they catch back up a little bit. The show fight recap proven worthless again, as it doesn't show us both kills, but that's 2 kills in favor of Invictus Shadowy. So now they're behind 3-2, but catching up a little bit. We've got the Boots of Travels completed on the Meepo. We've got the AA with a smoke, so he's looking to try to make a rotation. I'd actually like to see that on the Lion instead. Maybe he's going to pass it over or smoke with him, because AA's, I mean, I think he should be staying down here with the Meepo. I don't see any reason for him to really move around. He really needs to focus on getting 6 as well. Ember Spirit looks like he's building the 4 staff, and everyone's talking in chat, unfortunately, with the other spectators talking about the Ember Spirit skill build, and I guess we can point that out in a second. I'll get back to it. Puppy, he's doing all right for items so far. And let's stop and talk about the Ember Spirit right now. Well, in this lane he's struggling,
tower is under attack.
and what they're pointing out in chat is they're going to try to focus down Ember again, as Japster needs to be careful here, as they're going to get the kill. But what they're pointing out is that he's not getting Flame Guard. And I talked about how the AA's Chilling Touch applies to all the Meepos. Well, that means he's dealing a ton of magic damage, and the Ember Spirit will be a lot tankier with the Flame Guard. And there's a, maybe an argument to be made that he should be leveling Flame Guard to keep him alive and stuff like that. But I think it's actually important for him to level Searing Change and Flight of Fist. I'm not the biggest Ember Spirit player, so maybe I'm wrong on this. But I think what they want is him to actually be a lot more effective coming out of the lane. And in this game, I think the Sleight of Fist and the Searing Chains is the skill build that's going to allow him to be as effective as possible coming out of the lanes against this team. I think the Flaming Guard is good in the laning phase, but coming out of that laning phase, I think it's a little limiting. Flaming Guard is like the old, really old like mid build, where people, like when he was first added to the game, he was just crazy and impossible to deal with. I feel like it's just not as strong as the Sleight of Fist build. And I feel like the Sleight of Fist build is what they're really going to need to deal with that Meepo. Unfortunately, see Argus going down in the mid lane. He's struggling a little bit. He's 1500 gold. He's not that far from his blink dagger, but he's certainly losing to this Lina in the mid lane. Top lane. Take a look at the items we got up here. I like that the Ancient Apparition's hanging out in the top lane. The Night Stalker's going to be moving around at this time. Well, perfectly fine. Put the Ancient Apparition up there. Help him get 6. He's almost about to hit 6. But more importantly, he's got to get closer and closer to his Egg Scepter. And just being up there, he may only be getting a little bit limited amount of farm, but he's getting some. And now it's nighttime. Night Stalker goes back up there. Ancient Apparition rotates away. Perfect. I really want to see him hit 6 though. I think it's incredibly important for him to hit 6. He should be sitting mid and soaking some XP mid. Speaking of mid, Lion's in trouble here as the Brewmaster, not the Blue Master. The Brewmaster split has been used, and that's going to combine for a kill. However, in the bottom lane, DDS7 and and the Earthshaker combine. I'm trying not to die here. Combine for a kill on the Meepo. And back to the mid lane, Brewmaster having to get a shallow grave from the Dazzler, who will TP away. And now Argus running for his life. Of course, he's already used that split. He's going to try to juke and go into the neutrals. I don't know how he's going to get out of this one, as he does get a little bit of help from the Centaurs. He does get a stomp onto 2, but Autism 2000 is there to kind of cut him off, and Xerox is actually the one who's going to get the kill with the Dragon Slave.
Bottom tower is under attack.
We got KBZ just finishing his phase boots. He also got his urn, so he's basically got his foundation for a Night Stalker. I'll switch on over to net worth here. Just taking some quick looks around. Actually, I'm going to bring up the item chart here so we can get a better idea of everything that's going on.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Everything that's going on with the items. This Lina's... When you look at her, you see there's nothing really substantial, but it's because she's building a really strong foundation in her items. There's Ember Spirit's going to shatter there from the AA. And Lion getting a little low, but he should be fine in the end. So I'm just going to close this for a second. As we've got a re-engage here, and Steel is in trouble on that Razor. He's going to go down. Is Puppy going to be able to do anything? He's trying to come in for the shallow grave, but in the end, he'll actually go down as the Laguna Blade comes out from the Lina to finish him off. Now 8-5 in favor of In Japster We Trust. And it's just... this team is so scary at the end of the laning phase. They're so scary. They've got so much potential that they can do with these heroes. They've got the 6 on the Lion, so the finger's available. They've got the Night Stalker, which is a powerhouse as long as it's nighttime. They got the Ancient Apparition, who's hit 6, so he's got that. They've got the Laguna coming out from the Lina. I always like almost call her Lina. I don't know why, Lina. And then, of course, while all that's going on, they've got the Meepo farming away, and I mean, he's no slouch either. Once he gets his Blink Dagger, he is a force to be reckoned with. Looks like he's going Egg Scepter first, which is perfectly fine. We got 3 heroes on this. Both supports on the Dire side hanging out in the middle lane. I think they feel like there's going to be some pressure applied onto the Brewmaster, but little do they know there's no hero on the Radiant side anywhere near them. They're pressuring the bottom tier 1 tower. And they're not actually going to be able to get it with this push, but no Dire heroes are rotating to defend that. This Meepo just farming up the jungle.
Radiant's middle tower is under
and it's
attack.
like, you take a look at the minimap, it's like everyone's avoiding each other right now.
Bottom tower is under attack.
There's no enemy heroes near anyone else. There's a Ice Blast going to fly in. I think it was for that Brewmaster, but that, of course, is just an illusion. A obviously didn't know that when he threw the Ice Blast. But we have a little bit of a
top tower is under attack.
Scale point in this game is a little bit surprising because it is still nighttime. And I guess that's partly why the Dire side is avoiding all over the place. They want to stay away from this Night Stalker. But Xerox in trouble in the mid lane. Brewmaster split has been used. Xerox is going to go down. Had Laguna still available to him, but wasn't able to get it off. The AA TPs to try and come help out, but a little late. It looks like we're going to have a complete disengage here. While that was going on, the bottom tower was claimed. So that went down. Meepo was the one who helped push that down with his creep wave. He's almost done his Egg Scepter. Just 400 gold away from that. DDS7 trying to force them back with the Ember. Ice Blast going to fly through, a little off the mark again. I guess it was fishing for the Razor, but he had plenty of HP. Weave being used onto the Lion, and I believe it also hit the Night Stalker and did. Argus running around with that haste. It's like they're they're a little hesitant on whether or not they should engage. Nice shallow grave coming out from Puppey there, making sure that he doesn't die to that Laguna Blade. Finger going out as well. And Autism 2000 is going to be the first to go down. Steel and Argus are going to just charge past the tower. They've got backup as well. Z-Rock throwing down the stun. Will hit the Razor, but Argus is going to blink on over it. That means that's going to be a dead Lina. And now off to the right side. Puppey is going to be the one getting focused down by Japster, but DDS7, he's been trying to start down this Meepo all game. He's going to arrive on the scene, and Meepo is going to go down. And now, the Lion and the Razor running for their lives. And it looks like Lion's going to go down. And will they be able to catch the Night Stalker? Probably not, because it's nighttime and it is a Night Stalker. That hero is damn fast. 486 move speed with the Phase Boots proc, so there's no one. There's absolutely no one on this Dire side that can move anywhere near that quick. The one exception is maybe the Ember Spirit throwing his Fire Remnants. He might be able to catch up, but it's that's a damn fast hero. Wow. So the game so far, up to a specific point, up until right before that last fight, I should say. Was looking pretty in Japster We Trust favored. They were definitely getting an advantage as the game was going forward. But with that last fight, Invictus Shadowy, they came out way ahead with that. Unfortunately, they just lost their Ember Spirit in the bottom lane. Laguna being used by Z-Rock to get that kill. But Invictus Shadowy pulling themselves back in this game. Kill total now, 10 to 10. Let's actually take a look at the net worth, and we're basically right back to 0. XP, about 1,500 in favor of Invictus Shadowy, which is a little surprising, to be honest, considering there is a Meepo on the Radiant side. Steel gets a kill onto Autism 2000 in the top lane. Z-Rock is, he has picked up an Oblivion Staff, so he's going to be working towards, most likely, I mean, that's going to be an Orchid, I imagine. It's not going to go straight into Refresher. That's going to be very strong against the Brewmaster, of course, stopping him from splitting. They also have the Night Stalker Silence for the same thing, but it's also good at shutting down the Ember Spirit as well. So they have basically two sources. It's not a matter of the Night Stalker choosing who he's going to silence. They've got one for each source, or they can, you know, double them up on the same target or whatever they decide to do. But they will have two sources of silence to shut down the two heroes that need to be silenced on the Dire side. So good item pickup by him. We've got a Ring of Health picked up by the Night Stalker. We've got the Egg Scepter has been finished by the Mappo. I'm looking at the Lina. Where's he? Yeah, there he goes. He went with a Midas. It's actually weird to see Ancient Apparitions now picking up Midas. You know, back when everyone was calling it Midas Gaming and everyone was getting a Midas in the game. AA was one of those heroes that people typically weren't actually getting Midas with. They're saying, you know what, just go get your Egg Scepter, because if you get the Midas, the Egg Scepter comes on too late. Now that everyone's not getting Midas, it's funny to see that everyone's now that plays AA is getting the Midas. And it just helps give him those levels and help accelerate his farm a little bit better. And frankly, I think it actually doesn't really delay your eggs at all. Japster in a lot of trouble as he's going to find everyone on the Dire side. And he's going to go down. The only hero he didn't find is Steel, but that's because his Lion, Rasilian? I'm going to struggle with that name. Managed to find him, and well, that's two pickoffs in favor of Invictus Shadowy. That didn't come without a consequence, though, as they lost their top tier 1 tower. I didn't even circle the location of the actual tower, but they lost their tier 1 tower in the top lane there. I do like the fact that they placed this deep Observer Ward. Might feel a little early for that, but that's going to give them a lot of knowledge of the rotations that are going on from this Radiant side, and when they're coming from like the base, where they're going. Are they going this way? Are they going this way? Are they going this way? And that's actually huge, because you know typically what they're thinking. Where are they going? Are they going to gank something in the bottom lane? Are they going to, you know, put pressure on the mid lane? Are they going to be heading top? That's huge amount of information. Obviously, a different placed ward is, you know, for example, this one. It tells you if someone's coming into your jungle. That's important. You could also place an observer ward here that tells you the same thing as someone going into my jungle, but it also gives you the information of going this way. Frankly, you don't need this information. This ward is actually more important because it tells you more information around the rune location. And if rune didn't spawn there, this ward location would still probably be better because it just tells you ahead of time where they're going. All you need to know is that they're going into your jungle. You don't need to know exactly which route they're taking to get into your jungle. And that's exactly what this kind of ward does. It tells you where they're roughly going on the map. Because you don't have to know exactly. You just have to have a ballpark idea of where everyone is on the map. Oh no. Puppy in the mid. Oh, he's actually... Is he going to tick out? No, the mech is going to come out from the Razor just to save him in time. He was so close to ticking out from the urn from KRB's. BZ? KRB's? I don't know. We'll figure out that one. They are going to check Roche, make sure that there's nothing going on there. Autism 2000 looks like he's going to get picked off. Z-Rock just got picked off by Steel, and there goes Autism 2000. So 2 more pickoffs. And that just seems like sloppy play. I saw the 2 heroes, leave mid lane and come check out Roche, and I thought everyone else was just going to back out, but 2 heroes were still hanging around in the mid lane, and they got picked off. So a little bit of sloppy play coming out from In Japster We Trust. And we've seen that a few times now, and they've gotten picked off every time. And that's going to allow Steel to finish his orc. Well,
Dire's bottom
that's
tower
not an orchid,
is
that's
under
called
attack.
an egg scepter. And and then Puppy just finished his medallion. So making a little bit of item progression on heroes as a result of that. It looks like we almost got a Battle Fury finished on the Ember Spirit. Brewmaster elected to go with the Vlad's Offering, which is actually pretty good. It gives him a little bit of armor. It helps his team with mana regen, but mainly increases their damage. Of course, it increases. It gives you lifesteal just for melee of 16%, but it gives you the bonus damage aura of 15%, which is quite significant. And because it's an aura, it actually is still working while you're in your Brewmaster split, so it's not something that goes to waste. Like if you were to get a usable item, then you'd be able to use that. And you're seeing Luna getting picked off there, but they lose steel at the same time. And DDS7, oh my goodness, getting so low. We saw the Echo Slam go off onto the Meepos, getting both of them low. And the Ember Spirit comes in with a Sleight of Fist and gets the Meepos even lower, but not able to finish them off. Keep in mind, once that Ember Spirit has the potential to crit or something like that, he's going to be able to get some kills. He gets the kill there onto Rassilon. He gets the kill onto Autism 2000 as well. The Meepos will TP away, so they will no longer be vulnerable, but that's going to be a tier 1 tower going down, or is it? As we got a TP from the Meepo, looking like he wants to try and defend this tower, and well, everyone on the Dire side is actually going to back away. We've got a split coming out from the Brewmaster. Now he's trying to focus down the Meepo. Which one is it going to be? This is like impossible to select. Either way, we're going to have the Dazzle go down first. The Meepo's getting so low, down to 200 HP. Nice micro to back him away, but DDS7 is going to come in, try to focus down one of them with the Brewmaster split. The nets are coming out from Meepo, unfortunately not able to land onto the Ember Spirit. Laguna getting used, but only bringing that Ember down to 400 HP. Argus now getting chased down by the Night Stalker, and he's found a little nook in the trees to call home, but unfortunately, KRBZ came right in the front door and he's trapped. He's getting sucked off by the Lion, desperately trying to get some right clicks off. He gets both of them low enough for DDS7 to come in and finish them off with the Sleight of Fist. There we go. Japster gets a mega kill when it's all said and done, but DDS7 gets an ultra. Oof. That was crazy. It looks like they were going to back away, but then they decided, you know what? Argus said, I can split, we can re-engage here. And unfortunately, with that re-engage, they lost their Dazzle. But with DDS7 coming in, it completely turned how that fight was going. It looked very in Japster We Trust favored, and it looked like the split was maybe a little bit questionable. But with DDS7 arriving on the scene, that completely changed the outcome of that fight. As DDS7 once again eats another Laguna, but not going down. There's been a lot of Lagunas thrown out by this Lina, but not able to get a kill on the back of them.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And it's a level 2 Laguna as well, so it's dealing a lot of damage. Well, let's take a look at the AA. He's about halfway to his eggs. He's getting there. And that's going to be quite significant. Not so much about the damage increase, but it's the fact that the debuff lasts so much longer when you've got the eggs upgrade Ice Blast. We also got the Brewmaster about halfway to his egg scepter as well. I'm not sure what Steel's going to work towards next, as he hasn't shown what his next item's going to potentially be.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Japster, not sure yet.
Radiant's
I mean, he's
bottom
got Boots of Travel and he's got his Tranquils, but of course his egg scepter. And it looks like Steel is going to go down here.
Sends me home.
Caribbee's going to get chased down by some Brewmaster splits, but he's going to turn around, try to get the kill onto Puppey, who is silenced, but he's not going to get him down before... Never mind. With Japster arriving on the scene, he's going to be able to get him down before the Shallow Grave. He's going to toss one of the Meepos up in the air, but there's still 4 running around. It's like a zoo of little Meepo things, rodents. I don't even know what they are. But Argus is going to go down as soon as his split ends. And Carabeezy's he's going to get hit by the Echo. And that's going to make sure that they get the kill onto both. It's not Xerox or Carabeezy that's going to go down. It's both of them that's going to go down. DDS7 gets the kill onto both of them. And then he even jumps forward and gets the kill onto Japster. DDS7 just showing his worth on this Ember Spirit. My goodness. He is doing work. And you know, we've got to pause. I'm going to take a break. There's been a lot of action. I need a sip of water. So give me 1 second, guys. Alright, I'm back, and it looks like we're resuming. I almost said respawning. Guys, the gamer nerds is taking over. I gotta tell you guys a story. I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here. So, I was sitting in the doctor's office. This happened a while ago, and I had been up all night, and I was pretty tired. I hadn't slept because I had an early morning appointment with the doctors, and I'm going to see Ursula get checked out here. But an early morning appointment with the doctor. I'm sitting in the waiting room, and the door to the doctor's office is like it's broken. Like it won't. How do I describe it? It just doesn't work. It's broken. Whatever. That's not the point of the story. So I like when I come in, I'm trying to use the door, like trying to get it working. It's like it's clearly I figured out that the thing's broken, and another guy comes in and then he checks in and he goes and the door he's trying to fix the door and he's messing with it, and then he gives up and sits down. And someone else comes in, and there's like, instead of going to the thing, they immediately try to fiddle with the door, and then I say, and I catch myself halfway. I was about to say it's bugged. But what happened is I actually changed midway through saying bugged and tried to say broken. So I said it's bug-roken. And the look I got from the 2 other people sitting in the doctor's office when I said that, I felt like the biggest nerd. But enough of that story, we got a fight here as DDS7 once again gets another kill, but this time, in Japster we trust, are able to focus him down. Now Steel is the focus target. Japster dealing a ton of damage. There's so many Meepos. Able to focus him down. Now Argus will get the split off before he's going to go down. Puppey's just going to abandon him, TPing away. He's already used Shallow Grave anyways. There's not much he can do to help out here. And I think pretty soon, this guy's going to be in trouble. Look at them. They know. This is actually really, really smart play. They know that he's going to recombine on the Earth minion, so they want to make sure that they kept it alive because they weren't able to kill the blue one. Argus is going to go down, but let me talk a little bit more about that point. They knew that the blue one was gone. It was invis. It was added there. They weren't going to be able to kill it. So obviously, if there's only one left, Brewmaster recombines on the one that's alive. But if there's a certain order to which one he'll recombine if there's more than one. And the Earth one is always first. It's always that one. If the Earth one's alive, he'll recombine on the Earth. So they realized the blue one was gone. It was invis. They weren't going to be able to catch it. So the Earth one was here. And they were keeping it alive because they knew as soon as that was expired, he's going to reform on here. But there was a big play that came out from this Earthshaker. And basically what he did was he came in and threw out that Echo Slam, and that gave Argus the ability to blink away right on the end of the split. Yes, he had to use the Echo Slam, and it cost him his life, but it kept his carry alive. And that's just like a great play coming out from the support. Maybe he was going to be able to get the blink off before he was they were able to deal any damage to him, but he didn't even put it up to chance. He just said, you know what, guys, I'm perfectly fine with sacrificing myself. I think this would be a good choice to make sure Brewmaster stays alive. And unfortunately, it looks like, with the Shallow Grave, he is going to stay alive. The Ice Bot's going to come in. It's going to apply the effect onto him. It doesn't actually hit him, but it's going to apply the effect, which means he will shatter. Anyways, Argus blinking forward, getting the clap onto a couple of Japsters, but there's still like 3 of them or so without the clap. But who knows how that spreads. Z-Rock will get focused down by DDS7. This guy's nuts on Brewmaster. We've got Aegis used, and Japster will respawn. And will he try to engage? I think he will. He's going to throw out some nets. He's going to hit 2. And Puppy's going to get focused down by KRBZ and those Japster minions, or Meepo minions. Steel is now the focus target as well, and he's just going to get continuously ensnared as well. Argus trying to run away, and I think he should be fine. He's going to have Blink up in a second, and that means he's not going to get hit by the net, and he is pretty much gone. They're not going to be able to catch him. That's not an active fight recap, but that was 3 for 3? Yes, 3 for 3. If you consider the Aegis as a kill as well. Well, Mr. Sizzle's asking for the experience graph. Well, let's first bring up the gold graph. It's, like you said, a roller coaster ride, and it's just that. This is a pretty boring part of the ride, I'd say, but as you're going up. But yeah, 3,000 net worth in favor of Japster. We trust. That's a little bit skewed. I'll get to that in a second. Experience graph. That's actually pretty close to even, but still in Japster we trust favor slightly. And I'll get to why that's a little bit skewed in a second. But it's mainly about this Meepo. Now look at his items. He's going to have a Scotty finish. He's going to have an Egg Scepter. He's going to have a Scythe, Blink Dagger, Boots of Travel. He's gigantic. The problem is he's about to plateau. Meepo's crazy at farming. He's absolutely crazy. But he's going to finish that Scotty. He's going to have 1 slot left, and then that's it. He's plateaued. He's not going to get any stronger. He's going to be 6 slot, and that's it. Meepo's fantastic at farming and snowballing out of control. The problem is like he'll then be relevant for the rest of the game, but his relevance comes down a little bit as the game goes on and on and on. And with him not really being able to increase his net worth by much in terms of what he's actually holding on person, his net worth will still actually increase because he's holding more gold. But he's not going to do anything to help him be more effective in a team fight. This Ember's getting focused down by KRBZ, but he's perfectly fine. They're spamming that he's got a BKB. It is a 10-second BKB. There's no reason to force it out, but he will there. As Z-Rock, maybe he didn't realize that there was a BKB, as he just walks in and fed, essentially. The Brewmaster is going to try to find the Meepo minion, but won't be able to find him as he's able to poof away just in time. KRBZ just going to keep running away. Let's bring up the item graph, item chart. I don't know what to call this. Item chart? It's not really graph. Let's see what everyone's got on hand. We got the Yules on to Z-Rock. He's going to have a Yules Orkin. I don't like going both those items at all. I think you need something. Like I feel like they almost like Yules is kind of I actually view Yules as a more offensive item than a defensive item. Although in certain heroes you pick it up for defensive reasons, such as the Shadow Fiend, which can be used offensively as well. But Death Prophet, for instance, like the old Death Prophet, that's used a lot more centered around defense. But like this Lina, it's once again an offensive pick when it's really run on Lina. It does give her a little bit of defense, but it's mainly an offensive item. She's gonna get blown up. Yules would have kept her alive there. I'll give her that. Oh my goodness! I can't stop laughing. Japster's got demolished by the Ember.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we're still gonna keep going here as Argus is gonna force back KRBZ, but they're just gonna focus down this tier 2 tower. And they have no reason to chase that Night Stalker. Just go tier 3, and the pings are coming out. But the Ember Spirit, with the Sleight of Fist and the double Battle Fury, just one shot. One shot the Meepo. He was full to dead, just gone. They were all together and just gone. Oh man, Meepo. That's the problem when you pick the Meepo that early. With a team that feels very confident in their Ember Spirit play. They're just gonna pick it. Say, you know what? You can rotate that Meepo to support whatever, that's fine. It's still gonna be an easy kill for our Ember Spirit. If it's core, it's gonna be a less easy kill, but we're still gonna feed off of it. And we're just seeing right now how Ember Spirit's so strong. There's certainly plays around it. You know, you can't keep your Meepos together. You have to keep them really spread out, but it's really asking for a lot out of the Meepo player. And it's a much harder style of playing Meepo. And especially, like, Meepo's all about just poof. And just poofing in, and that gives them a ton of burst damage. And that also groups them up, so you can't do that against the Ember Spirit. So it's like, it takes a lot out of the Ember or the Meepo core. DDS 7 is just insane on this Ember Spirit. 14, 5, and 11 right now. So we'll take a Ember or Night Stalker trying to run.
Generation.
The spectators talking about Bat Rider was the pick instead of Night Stalker, but pretty sure Bat Rider was banned out. Argus getting pressured in the bottom lane by Japster, and looks like we're going to have a dead Brewmaster. Oh, he will get the split off, so he won't die. He should be able to get on out of here. He's going to try to fight it, actually. And with help from his Ember Spirit, that means it's going to be a turnaround. The Meepo is going to go down. The Ice Blast is going to fly in, but that's not going to get him a kill on anything. And instead, it's not a kill on the Brewmaster. It's a kill on the Meepo, and that is absolutely huge for them. They don't have the Brewmaster split, but by the time the Meepo's back up, the Brewmaster split's going to go up. So definitely a worthy trade. What I'd really like to see this Radiant side do is just take control of the map with wards. They still have wards. Sorry, they have wards on cooldown. Do they have any wards on hand? I don't think they do. Yeah, they need to really take control of the map. They've got 4 being placed, but I don't feel like this is an effective ward. I don't feel like this is an effective ward. I feel like this isn't an effective ward. They need to be much deeper, and they've got an eggs up on Night Stalker. They've had it up for quite some time. Get a gem up on him, get aggressive wards, and take over the map. Push them back. Make them stay behind that line that I just drew on the minimap. Take control of the map, because you need something to change the pace of this game. Because as it's going, Radiant's just losing. This Ember Spirit's just taking over the game, and the Meepo's becoming less and less effective, and the Ember's having an easier and easier time dealing with the Meepo. And he's going to get a nerf pick off here on the line. He's going to try to deny to the... Oh, no, actually, he was able to get his blink off. And now he's going to get the stun on Argus. But there's DDS 7 once again on the Ember Spirit, getting another kill. See now. Goes 15, 5, and 12. Yeah, I really feel like they just need a ton of aggressive wards. Like, it's fine having a ward doing what this ward's doing. Just get it down here. Like, not there, but like down there, giving you vision of that area. You could even put it on the high ground here. You can put it up here. Give you vision of this kind of area. And it'll do roughly the same thing that this ward does. And if you want exactly what this ward does, just put it up here. And that'll give you so much more information. And you can support all that by just having that gem on the Night Stalker and just walking around. Like, this ward shouldn't exist. This ward should not exist when you have an eggs void. Not void, Night Stalker. I really feel like a gem pickup would be huge for them right now. Ice Blast's gonna fly in again. It's gonna hit too, but effectively not really doing them much. I feel like the AA Ice Blast haven't really been doing much for them. I don't feel like they've been playing around it though. Like, I feel like there hasn't been much setup for the AA to throw his Ice Blast, and I think that's not so much on the AA. Like, it's on the rest of the team. They need to be able to get together and do something. Like the Lion, the Night Stalker, the Luna. I talked about how much potential they have to put some aggression and force. When you've got an Ice Blast, you don't need to like 100 to dead someone. You've got an Ice Blast. You just need to 100 to 10 them. And when you've got Laguna and Finger, it's so easy to do.
Radiant structures are fortified.
We're going to have a tier 2 tower go down here. Radiant's going to go for a trade, get the tier 2 in the mid. What will Dire do? Will they actually back here, or will they continue to push? It looks like they're going to TP back, as Ember is going to lead the way with the first TP. And he's going to try to go on after the Meepo. Nope, they're just going to back away. AA drawing on the map. They're retreating this way. They're coming behind you, so don't go that way. But they actually didn't. They all TP'd away. In fact, this Observer Ward would have given them that knowledge. But maybe he was just saying, be careful of the smoke potential of doing that. I'm not sure if anyone actually had a smoke on hand. Okay, the Dazzle did have smoke on hand. So that's probably what he was saying. Was he actually... Did he just sell? Oh, okay, the smoke's on the ground. I thought he just sold the smoke. I was like, what? No, you don't do that. You don't do that. That stuff comes in limited quantities. Ice Bass flying in. I'm not really sure. He's gonna hit the Brewmaster. But I feel like they're not making use of this AA at all. The AA is fantastic with buffing the Meepo, and I feel like that's the only reason they picked it, which is okay, but AA's got his own strengths. You know, AA isn't just a buff bot for your Meepo, although it works terrific like that. It's, you know, AA is a hero in his own right, and it pairs incredibly well with the Lina, with the Lion, and with the Night Stalker. They're just not making use of it. Are they gonna? Oof. I thought they were gonna go for Roche there. That would have been nuts. That would have been really nuts. Let's take a look at our gold graphs here. We got 2,000 lead for Injapster We Trust. So they're pulling back ahead, but look at the XP earned, and that's about 10k lead for Invictus. Dire is posting up around Roche Pit and starting to control the space. And do we still not have a gem on this Radiant? Man, they need a gem so badly. So badly they need a gem. And there's no ward vision anywhere around Roche for either team, but you don't know that. You haven't been throwing down the sentries. You don't know exactly how much vision there is. And the pings are coming out from the Brewmaster saying that they're going to go do Roche.
Regeneration.
And he could have known that from two ways. I think he actually knew that the AA blast was coming from this direction. And that's actually quite telling on AA's position and what they're doing. That they were going for Roche. So Roche will get claimed by the Radiant, and it is going to be Lina who's going to hold on to the Aegis, but they just lost their Lion. And meanwhile, in the top lane, Japster is going to threaten the tier 3. He's going to be up here with the Night Stalker, but they need to get on out of there. And I think the Night Stalker is going to get caught here, despite the fact that he's such a fast hero. He's going to get caught. He stayed way too late. He's going to go down. He was able to buy a Mithril Hammer right before he went down, so he actually didn't lose any gold. The gold that he was left with was reliable. So he did a good job of buying, so he didn't lose too much gold. Or any gold, I'm not exactly sure what his gold was right before he went down, but he was left with his reliable gold at 700 and whatever. I don't imagine he was holding on to much more than 2,300 gold. Well, we've got a gem purchased, finally, but it's on the other team. It's Earthshaker holding on to the gem. Got these heroes moving together. Are they going to smoke? What are they doing? No, they don't have a smoke, but they do have... maybe just going around doing a little dewarding. There we go, doing a little dewarding. And like, they can just get rid of every ward on the map by doing this, walking around with this gem. Because right now, it's not like the Radiant side can really threaten, can really come in and say, you know what, you can't counter ward. As long as the Dire side's together, it's not certainly not favorable for the Radiant to engage. Wow, that was really loud. But yeah, they can't really engage, and that's why I thought it was so important for the Night Stalker to get the gem earlier on and them take over the control of the map. Because right now I feel like this is happening constantly. Like they're trying to do too much by themselves. They're not grouping up as 5 because they know that they can't fight as 5, but they got to do something together. They got to try to use their team's ability to get pickoffs. And Panda's going to get focused down, but Shallow Grave is there, and there goes their Meepo. He's gone already. As soon as the Ember Spirit comes in, Meepo's gone. And Lina is going to respawn on the back of that Aegis. Will she be able to get on away? She is going to get slowed down by the Dazzle. She's going to throw down a stun. It is going to hit 2, but Ember's there to get the kill. And actually, it's Steel is going to get the kill on the Razor. But DDS7 is once again doing so much damage in those team fights. 18, 5, and 15 is what he's at right now. Tons of pings coming out. I think they're expecting a hero to be there, but not the case. And we're finally going to get a push up onto the tier 3s here. As this mid tier 3 is going to go down potentially. As Weave's going to get used to give them all a little bit more armor. Glyph's going to get used as well, and this should be a tier 3 and a set of racks. Meepo's TPing to the bottom lane. And he's going to try to threaten the bottom with the Night Stalker, who's now going to TP back, and I think that's right. And now they're going to try to take down that range racks. They will, and I think the call was to go bottom, and they're going to threaten this tier 3 tower and start chipping away at it, but Earthshaker's on his own on that one, and they're just going to TP back because they've got Japster doing too much by himself. But the Ember Spirit canceled his TP, so he's just going to be here fighting with the Night Stalker and wiping out the Radiant team. And I think with wiping all these heroes, you just go Throne. No, they're going to go back. Okay, they're going to go back, and well, Japster is just going to TP away. He's got one still back in his own base. So they end up trading a set of racks, and Japster will get away. I feel like that should not have been a trade. I don't know. If you go for Throne, you're getting down one tier 4, maybe the second tier 4, maybe it's only down to half by the time Meepo's already taken out your racks, and then he's coming back. So you're fighting against Meepo and who was left? It was one other hero. I think it was the Lina. I think you still go for that. I think they could have just won there by going for the Throne. But they chose for arguably the safer play and come back and say, you know what, let's defend. Let's try to keep our racks alive. Unfortunately, they did lose the melee racks, and they didn't even get the kill on the Meepo, which was really unfortunate for them. But they did keep the range racks up, I guess. But I feel like, especially with the fact that they just wiped out a bunch of heroes on the Radiant side, that they should have got more on the back of it. TP in the top lane as Brewmaster's going to go after the Meepo here, and the Meepos are so low, but they don't get the kill. And instead, it's going to be a turnaround onto the Brewmaster. The one Meepo's trying to run. He's on cooldown with his poof, but now he'll jump away. Argus will use the split onto the Brewmaster. Xerox hanging off to the side, maybe trying to bait him out a little bit. But it's the Void, or I keep calling him Void. It's the Night Stalker. Void is one of his abilities. He's potentially in trouble as now Ember Spirit's jumping around. He's going to turn around, go for Xerox on the Lina, who's down to 300 HP. He's going to go down. And Laguna does get used, and DDS7 will go down immediately after with Japster jumping in. Now Steel's there. He's going to be sucking a ton of damage from his opponents, but he's going to go down. Oh my. The two supports from the Dire side, not even there. That was maybe a very bad fight for the Dire side to take here. You know, the pings came out from them saying that, you know, their supports weren't there, pinging onto their supports. But how did the supports get there? They just start running, and I mean, I guess they got to be closer to their carries, but at the same time, they've got nowhere to TP to, and it just seemed like they didn't have a chance of getting there. So it was just a bad fight. It was a bad fight for them to take. This boss down. Steel will buy back on the Razor. I don't know if that was necessary. I don't think they were actually going to be able to push the high ground. Jobster's going to TP in. We only got two Meepos in. Now the poofs are going to come through, and they're going to try to focus down the Earthshaker. Shallow Grave's going to be used on him. Steel is taking a bunch of damage from the Meepo, and he will get the kill onto the Meepo. So Jabster will go down, and now Steel is getting chased down by the Night Stalker, who will pop the BKB, but there's no chance of him getting this kill. And well, Night Stalker's going to try to TP away, but he'll get interrupted, and DDS7 just melts him. Absolutely melts him. Jeez. Mr. Sizzo asking in chat, he's like, I actually agree with the spectator chat. What was up with that Night Stalker pick? Who is that supposed to counter? Brew? And I don't think it's specifically just to counter the Brew. I think it gives them options to counter both the Brew and the Ember Spirit. Silence is good against both of them. But to me, on paper, I think they have so much aggression in the mid game. And they can just snowball off the fact that Night Stalker, Lina, and even Lion with AL, they can get kills so easily, and they're just going to snowball off the back of it. The problem is, when put into practice, they didn't do anything like that. They even came out of the laning phase in a decent position. They were going to be really, really scary coming out of that laning phase, but they didn't do anything. They didn't put that aggression on. And I feel like part of it was, I don't know, I feel like Lion was moving around and doing some stuff. I feel like, I mean, AA can't initiate all that stuff. I feel like it comes on the back of the Night Stalker and the Lina. They need to be the ones out there making the plays, creating stuff. And the Lion's just got to be there to support them. And it seems like he was moving around trying to get everything going. But it didn't feel like those two cores were really leading the way. Well, we do have a fight here as we got both BKBs popped from the Night Stalker and the Ember Spirit. And Brewmaster's going to go down before he's able to get the split off, with Laguna finishing him off, bursting him down before he does the Brewmaster split. And Dyer's going to smartly back away here, or are they? DDS7, he's going to throw out a Sleight of Fist, hoping for a crit to at least give them a little bit of an advantage for potential for re-engaging. But they've got it back because Jabster is in the top lane pushing, but DDS7 with a Sleight of Fist gets the kill into Z-Rock, and I think he's going to have to turn around. There's an Ice Blast. That'll shatter DDS7, but he'll just buy back and he'll go and potentially shut down this Meepo, who's in the top lane, taking down both set of racks, and then he'll jump back to the safety of his own base. Meanwhile, DDS7 has rejoined his team in the bottom.
Radiant structures.
As now they're going to try to poke away at this tier 3 tower. Keep in mind that they've already lost that top set of racks, and Japster even gets a kill onto the Dazzle in the top lane. And now he's going to go for the mid set of racks. And now they really have to make a decision. What are they going to do? DDS7 gets a kill onto the line. He's going to charge forward after Autism 2000. Still doesn't get a crit there, but he will get the kill regardless. They're going to go for their throne. It's going to be a base race. The Meepos against all these heroes from the Dire side. It's going to be, actually, they're just going to, they think they're going to lose it. They're just going to completely back. And they're going to shut down this Meepo, who's now already chewed through one tier 4, and he's going to chew through a second. But Sir Renita, sorry, is going to blink in, throw out the Echo Slam, and slow him down at least. This tier 4 is about to die down. DDS7 throws out the Sleight of Fist, and Japster dies so quickly once again. Whew. This game, Autism 2000, getting picked off by Brewmaster. It's like it's never ending. We're gonna have the second set of racks going down. As he's gonna constantly keep throwing the Lina up in the air, and the melee racks is about to fall. 50. There we go. And he's just gonna back away. He's gonna be perfectly fine. And while that's going on, his team is going for Roche. And with them having Aegis on the back of this is gonna be gigantic. So what do we got? We've got, obviously there's a tier 3 down in the mid. So that's advantage Radiant. We've got, they haven't gotten down the range racks, or the melee racks, sorry, in the bottom lane. I'm not sure why I said range racks. They've gotten down the range racks. They haven't gotten down the melee racks in the bottom lane. So that's obviously advantage with Panda just getting the melee racks in the bottom lane. That's advantage Dire. There's one tier 4 gone for each side. This tier 4 has got a little bit less HP. That only matters in a base race when it just comes down to that little bit extra HP. So if they lose by what was that, 900? Yeah, 900 HP. That'll be the effect of that, the difference in tier 4 towers. And then the Aegis. The Aegis is, of course, the biggest factor. That Aegis went on to the Ember Spirit, of course, and the cheese is being held by the Brewmaster. I'm actually going to leave the items up here because I know I haven't checked them in a while. And you're going to blink through, stun out, throw out a fissure onto the Lina.
Yes.
We have so many boots of travels on this Dire side. Everyone knows that they're going to need boots of travels. The only one who doesn't have boots of travels is Earthshaker, and of course he's holding on to a TP. The chat pointing out that Manta, BKB getting sold on the Nepo in favor of Manta, and that's definitely a great choice if he's going to be trading, or even if he's going to be fighting. Oh, KRBZ's going to go down there. So it is going to be a trade. The Night Stalker for the Dazzle. And honestly, it's weird because the Night Stalker's a core, and I think that's actually advantage Radiant. But that's definitely not advantage Radiant, as Meepo once again, unfortunately, trades his life. He does get the melee racks in the bottom lane. So that evens the melee racks. Both teams having 2 sets of melee racks down. We're already at 58 minutes here into this game. And you can just sense that at any moment this game could just end. We're gonna have one fight and it's just gonna end. But not yet. As I don't think Dire can push with a Dazzle. The Dazzle is actually incredibly important. Really, really important. The Shallow Grave is gigantic. The Weave is actually pretty important too, but not that important. Nowhere near as important as the Shallow Grave. What else do they have to do? Well, I mean, buybacks are going to come in too, right? So they not only does, if Dire tries to push, they've got to go through the heroes that are already there, but then they have to go through the buybacks. As you look here, I've had the buyback thing up for a while. You see how many heroes on this Radiant side have buyback. It's everyone, except for AA. So, and I mean, he's on cooldown. What are they going to do? We got Razor hanging out in the bottom lane. Well, here we go. We got to engage in the bottom, but Japster is able to get on out of there and back to safety. He almost got picked off there. And I don't think they can push without first getting a pick on the Meepo. Because if they get a kill on the Meepo, that means when they're engaging, it's effectively like Meepo won't have a buyback because he's going to have to buy back right at the start as soon as they go to push. So they have to get a pick off on him before. I don't think that they can actually go through 2 Meepos in a fight. I think they need to get a pick to start it all off. The Shivas are going out. The 2 Shivas from the Dire side. And it looks like the Night Stalker. Oh, is he going to get away? He might actually be able to get away. He's going to go back to Fountain. He's going to get some HP and rejoin. DDS 7. There comes the Echo Slam coming out from the Earthshaker. He's got the buyback from the Lina. DDS 7's in trouble. He needs help. He's going to go down. He's got the Aegis though. He'll respawn and he'll actually have Lincolns available to him as well. And his team is just going to be focusing down the throne as it's down to 3,500 HP. But keep in mind, Meepo, what is he going to do? Is he going to go for the throne or is he going to come back? Well, it's not going to matter because it looks like his throne's going to go down. And Invictus, Shadowy, is going to take the win here. And oh my goodness, you have to give some kudos to DDS7 on that Ember Spirit. He played a hell of a game. My goodness. What a game. What a game. Ember 26, 7, and 23. Whew. He did some work in that game. But you know what? One of the silent I don't know what to call them, but a hero that's definitely not going to get a ton of praise in this game is actually the Dazzle. Yes, he missed some Graves, but he also had some pretty clutch Graves, and especially with those fights, they got pretty hectic at times. And Dazzle was on top of that, making sure that he had the shallow Graves going on. There was a little bit of a misstep, and maybe it was the Dazzle and the Earthshaker when there was that team fight going on in the top, and they both didn't get there. They ended up at top rune by the time the fight ended. So Dazzle and Earthshaker didn't even get there on time. Maybe that was part of their mistake. Maybe that was part of the rest of the team's mistake. But either way, they got to the end, and they got there together. And oh my goodness, what a game. That was nuts. Lion finished 116-10. Oof. Actually, I think the biggest story of the game is the fact that the Lina finished 8-17-10. The Lina just didn't really have an effect on this game. Came out of the laning phase with a huge win, but just didn't really have that effect on the game that you expect her to have, especially with such an easy lane. And with the kind of lineup they have, like I said, the Lina can pair with the Night Stalker so well. It doesn't even have to pair with the Night Stalker. Can pair with the Lion. Can pair just with the AA ult. Can do so much and just didn't get it done. Only part of 18 kills in over an hour-long game. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. We do have one more. We have the finals. This was just the semifinals. So be sure to follow me on all my channels, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, NizCast, and all of them. So that's nice and easy. But I'm going to throw it to music, and I'm going to hop in that lobby because I do not want to miss the finals. So stay with us.